Hi everybody. So this arrived this morning. I found this on eBay, and you can obtain this if you're patient for for a very reasonable price. And there is a guide, I believe, from the people at waitesmith.org, which I will link below, about what their thoughts are about prices. They've also explained a little bit more about the various editions which Ryder & Co. published in the 70s, which we fondly know as the Blue Box. And they have invited people to send some information or ask them questions about the various editions before you acquire them, just to make sure you have a fair price. I think they did say that they might not be able to respond as quickly as you might need them to, but I think it's worth a try. Failing that, there's some good info that I will link below on this particular edition by the waitesmith.org people. And so from that particular page myself, I understand that there is a variety of editions that was published by Ryder & Co. in the 70s. I believe this is the same Ryder & Co. which first published the Rider-Waite-Smith deck in the early 1900s. And so I believe Ryder & Co. still exists today under the name Ryder Books, and they are now part of a really large mainstream publishing house called Random House. So anyway, I started off wanting to collect the Rider-Waite-Smith decks because I started off wanting to obtain one copy, a good reproduction, the best reproduction there is. For me, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I wanted as how should I put it, with the highest fidelity reproduction of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which was published in the early 1900s. And so I started in May by purchasing the original Rider-Waite-Smith, the one with the blotchy lines. I have since gifted that because I really don't need multiple copies of Rider-Waite-Smith. And 5 or 6 months later, I have multiple copies of the Rider-Waite-Smith. But I have multiple copies because I became more and more obsessed with finding the perfect one. And if you know, I am a big fan of AGM's most recent one here, the Premium Tarot of A.E. Waite. But as you also know, Pixie's script is missing. So because they have to produce this in a multitude of languages, I do understand that it perhaps something to do with the printing process, that that doing it that way is easier. But otherwise it's perfect. The cardstock is amazing. The back is exactly as it was in the early 1900s. And I have done a bit of snooping or investigating, and based on the Lover's card and the Sun card, I believe this reproduction is based on Pam A. So I'll link that comparison video up there. Excuse me. And so I found then the Taroko Rider-Waite, which is appeared to be US Games edition from the first half of the 1970s, pre-copyright, that was packaged for the Italian market. Again, I have flipped through that deck and I will put that up here. There's a comparison video as well between that and something else. I'll put that video, all those here, up here. You can click on those. So I will make a comparison video of this one with the Taroko as well as with this one here in a separate video. And so also in this video, I'm not going to flip through this because everyone is widely known how the images look like. But what I will do is show you the box and show you the texturing of the surfaces of the cards, as well as the flesh tones, the flesh colors on the cards, because it seems like for the Ryder & Co. Blue Box 1970s edition, such as this one here, a lot of the distinguishing marks between the variety of editions, the variety of the variety of the Blue Box edition by Ryder & Co. from 1970s lies in the differences in tones of the skin color. So as you can see here, there is no Waddington. So assuming that this box is original to the deck, this is not once produced in association with Waddingtons, and therefore not the Blushing Fool. And therefore, it is also not 1972. And therefore, this is 1971. Because the other edition that they have from 1977, which is their last batch, I believe has copyright on the thing here. And it has usually, if the boxes are original to that edition, it has a sticker that says Thornton, I think. Was it Thornton? Thornton? Thorsons, sorry, Thorsons. And the booklet will say printed by George Over Limited. Now this does not come with a booklet. This is not also the edition that has the Key to the Tarot book in it, like a little book, an actual handbook. So no handbook, no white booklet, nothing, just the deck. It is also quite worn. As you can see, the edges are dirty. And so I must say I envy my friends, fellow collectors, and fellow enthusiasts who managed to score some of these decks in pristine or near pristine condition, great condition, for as little as $20 or £20. That's just amazing. So it is possible, just note, if you are, I am pretty bad hunting for bargains. I'm not quite sure why. Sometimes I feel I have the patience. Sometimes I feel like I just don't have the luck. I'm not sure. So that's the back. And so being rather pessimistic about my luck come to scoring a bargain, I am probably more anxious than I should have in obtaining most of my decks. And therefore, a lot of them I feel have been purchased at a fair market price, but I do feel that in a couple of instances, actually more than a couple of instances, I do feel that I could have done better, and I really believe I could have. So with a bit more patience and with a bit more mental space to continue to stalk the secondary online markets, I believe you have that chance, I believe. Because I heard of many instances like I think Bart, Katie, Simon, all of them managed to score some really great vintage editions for not very much at all. I paid this the equivalent of one of those indie decks. So you can see there. Please note that because this is in a worn condition, that a lot of that texturing could be also dirt and scuff marks. But you get the idea in terms of lamination or lack thereof. In comparison, I'm not quite sure if I've already said this, but in comparison to the Taroko edition, this seems to feel like more velvety. It feels like a mixture of velvet and rubber. It's very difficult to explain. It's sort of that kind of so let's take a look at the faces of the people, all the flesh tones here, the skin tones. So that's the Fool. Now that's the Sun card that I've established that I'm satisfied that most, if not all, of pre-copyright images are based on Pam A, but based on the squiggle there. So the face of the page looks a little bit watery, or the Magician's a bit more brownish. And this came completely shuffled, so it didn't arrive in order, and I haven't ordered them. I will order them when I do the comparison video. And this guy here in the Two of Wands have a bit of rash on his forehead there and around the chin a little bit. Excuse me. So that's the Eight of Swords. King of Cups. The Queen looks a bit brownish as well, the skin tone. Yeah, so I'll do be on the lookout for my flip through of this in comparison to the Taroko Rider Waite early 70s US games pre-copyright. This one here, potentially 1971 Rider and Co., both printed by A.G. Müller of Switzerland, and of course A.G.M. Urania's current most recent premium tarot or tarot of A.E. Waite, printed in Germany. Yeah. So I will talk to you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.